Evening everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Black Lodge. It is me, David, at Drinks Whisky. Saturday Night Drams. It's been a little while. The last time you'd have seen me live stream would have been the VPub takeover a few weeks back. However, we're back in the swing of things. It is, as the title says, whiskey season. And so we're back in the Black Lodge, Saturday night. Got the drams in front of me. Got you lovely people at home ready to join in. If you're watching and catch up, don't worry about it. You're part of the fun. Leave in the chat. There's a really active community here. It's fantastic to have you here. Already, I'm seeing in the chat, we've got people in and about. Let me just pull up where that would be. Where's my chat? See, this is the problems. We've been a little bit absent for a while. You kind of lose your footing. Where is my window for my chat? Who knows? For now, I am going to just have to wing it. Madness. I can see that these are in. I can see the chat on my main thing. But where is my chat box? That's the question. In the meantime, as I am doing all this back and forward, in the glass this evening is kicking off with a bottle that I repurchased. I had smashed through it and I've repurchased because it's under 30 quid, and that's the Glenmorangie 12. Probably 10 now, 12. It's the perfect starter dram for my palate. I'm not alone in that. I know I spoke to a few people that said that. It just kicks it off and I ran out. And I know I picked up the 14, the Quinta Reuben, which is jammy as hell. But that almost offers too much. So I've got that on the go to start with. So do let me know. I can see some of you already saying what in the chat, what you've got in your glass. Let me know from... There we go. I found the comments. PX, great to have you in this evening. Fantastic. Thanks for all your support as always. I know what the problem is. It's because the comment box keeps hiding behind that. There we go. Pete heads in. He's pouring himself an IB Manmore. Great. Claxton's. I've heard nothing but good stuff about Claxton's. I need to get involved with the Claxton stuff. I have not touched it yet. I know there's been a couple of releases recently. I've got a couple of mates in my whiskey club that are huge fanboys of Claxton's, so I have every faith that it's good stuff. And there's PX, back me up with that. I hear good things of Claxton's. Haven't tried Mannock though. Codger, great to see you, mate. Hope you're keeping well. Mike B, hi. I won't be able to join for long. Don't worry, you're here. That's all that matters. I appreciate you. Derek, fantastic. Cheers, mate. Always good to see you. Amateur casual, evening all. Great to see Saturday Night Drams back. Cheers. And I will say, guys, I know I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus from the live streams, and we'll chat a wee bit about that tonight. But it's not for lack of no whiskey stuff. There's been a lot going on, and again, that's going to be part of the theme tonight about what's been going on and what we're trying to get done. Rob's in. Great to see you, Rob. Fantastic. Mike saying he enjoyed the collab with Mac. Good stuff. Yep, we've got part 2 of the collab coming, the podcast drams. Finally. First one was with Marcos away last year at Glasgow Whisky Festival. Second one is with Mac. It's been worth the wait. Part 2 is coming up. And the foresight, the clairvoyancy that we had, Nostradamus-esque about some of the stuff that's went on this week alone, let me put it that way, we can delve into. But it's an interesting listen, especially if you like a rant. Billy, great to see you in. Just poured himself a Glen Scotia 15. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Kyle's in. Kyle Taylor. Cheers, all. Just having a juicy IPA with my sushi. Pumped to see this live. Appreciate you joining, Kyle. amateur casual saying, I've not touched a drop this week, but ended my dry week by killing off my Glenmo 12 about 10 minutes ago. But honestly, I think so many of us this year have kind of rediscovered old faithfuls, things that are sitting on shelves everywhere, and you just can't criticise. Like, I paid, I think, £29 a bottle of this. I actually bought 2 bottles. One is a gift for someone because I owe them a bottle for a bet. And normally I try and get something a bit fancy or whatever for him for his collection, and then I just like, no, I'll buy him this because it's just a cracking drinker, and he'll enjoy it. Who else we got? We got Norin Rad's in. Brilliant, Norin. Thank you for joining, guys. As I said in the chat at the start, we're really going to try and make a big push of these Saturday Night Drams. If you can, leave a like, and all your comments and engagement really help with that. And if there's anybody you know that fancies watching, ping them a message and say, get on here, get watching. We're in for a bit of fun this evening. So it's been a wee while. It has been a wee while. Where have I been? What have I been doing? So we'll go back to the beginning. We'll start with the VPub takeover, which went great guns, brilliant views on it. Excuse me, we'll have a sip of water. I thought I couldn't have asked for better guests. I knew that Mac was in town because we'd talked about collabing, and so I thought he's actually on the same time frame. It was all very last minute. It was actually after the Saturday Night Drams. On the Sunday, I got a message from Roy. We were chatting, and he said, can you step in, because of it was originally going to be First Phil that was going to do it, and then he had some tragic news, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I had the grand total of like 2 hours to try and come up with a theme and get stuff together to get it set up, to then let Roy push it out to the VPub viewers, the barflies. And I just thought it was a really nice, we talk about it a lot, like beginners drams and stuff like that, but as a VPub takeover, watching what other people were doing throughout the summer, I thought, let's go back to basics, but let's just have a bit of a conversation with it as well, because sometimes we can get really zoned in on our own geekery and our own enthusiasm. And then I thought, I'll just drop a DM to Billy Abbott, who I've only met a couple of times, but we've chatted a bit on Instagram and that, and he was brilliant. I thought, like, jumping on and being like, yeah, of course, I'll join in. And then I dropped one to Pete, who I've known for a few years at Woven, and again, he was like, yeah, what do you need? What do you need me to do? And so I couldn't have done it without them. And I thought as guests, they were really engaging. I loved the selections that they picked. There was no coercing. We all ended up winning a round each, which I thought was really fitting, because we were all approaching it from different angles, and yet you guys who were watching, from my audience but also Roy's audience and the wider Whisky audience, were finding similar points of view and stuff like that. So I thought, brilliant. But it kind of put me out my cadence, my rhythm a little bit, because it was a lot of work. It was a lot of head work, a lot of mental work to pull together and kind of maintain. And even though I had my fallow week coming up, I felt like I'd kind of exerted my creativeness so much that I struggled. The reason I never did the next week live pub, there was a couple of bits going on family wise and tech stuff, but mentally I didn't know what to talk about. I felt like I'd covered so much, and it's such a slow period of the summer that I just couldn't work out what would be interesting for you guys. There wasn't a lot happening, and then it coincided. I ended up having family down the last couple of weeks. I've had back-to-back parent visits and all that kind of stuff, so there's not really been the time. This has been the first weekend that I've actually had the Saturday night with no commitments on the Sunday, no commitments on the day and stuff, that I was able to prep and get stuff done. And I thought, no, I'd rather do it right than not. So that's been the Saturday Night Dram backstory of where we're at the moment. Going to try and get more consistent. Obviously, I go on holiday in, let me try and work this out, 2 weeks today, is it? God. So there won't be a stream for a couple of weeks because of that, but there will be videos. I have quite a few videos coming out, which I'm really excited about, and one of them is the part 2 of the podcast with Mac, Dram's podcast. The first one, I hope, if you've watched it, It's had great responses. People are really engaging with it. The second part gets a lot more livelier. I think we really find our rhythm and go on some rants and whatever. So it's really interesting to watch, and what we discuss is very topical, especially this week. It's very topical. So definitely keep an eye out for that. That will come out on Monday. That's been out for the last week for Patreons. And I always like to give them a wee shout out on this. So we're going to see how this works. Does it work? Yep, it's still working. Fantastic. We've got a new shout out here just to thank the Patreons who help support it. The support that these guys give me means they get the benefits up front, to be honest, but they're really helping me qualify and justify some of the purchases recently, and everything's kind of pulling together, and I just kind of look at the response I get from them, and it's a sounding board as well. It's a really great community. The tiers, if you look at the pricing, there's no pressure to do anything. There is a free tier. I don't really put anything on the free tier because this operates as a free tier. The YouTube memberships, I've never really pushed because I don't really know how to push that. I know it is I can remove monetization. So if I get more of the YouTube memberships, then I'll remove YouTube monetization. But for now, I don't even qualify to withdraw money from YouTube. I don't earn enough. So I don't know how helpful that will be, but maybe it'll help. I don't know. But yeah, these guys, they help me massively. So if you want to join, patreon.com, drinks whiskey. We do have Drams on the Run, the London edition, which I'm going to be posting out to the remainder of the Patreons that don't have it. That's happening this week. So do keep an eye out for that, Patreons. And for anybody that doesn't know, it's a guide to London whiskey. I'm still working on number 2, which is a Glasgow Edinburgh combo. I've got some really interesting creative bits on the go with that. So that's why that's taking a bit longer. But again, I want to do it right. It's not a rush. And that Patreon support really helps me take my time. So we're right up to date with the streams. I'm now going to jump back and look through the comments, see what's been happening in the chat. You guys have all been getting your drams poured. Let me see, where were we up to? We were up to Amateur Casual was chatting. I've left that. NORAD's still up. Noran's still up. So we'll remove that. Let's see, where are we? Derek, no whiskey this evening. A few cans of Beamish. Ugh, why not? Why not? I saw someone discover Murphy's yesterday on Instagram. Like a whiskey influencer discover Murphy's for the first time, and I'm like, where have you been? Beamish, I can understand, but Murphy's, wild. Tom, great to have you in. Evening, been getting a fire going in the garden and enjoying a Geary 12 onto PC10 next. Tom, great minds, absolute great minds, because what I have dram wise tonight are these, and in my glass for the second dram is, of course, you guessed it, Glengarry 12. I bought a replacement bottle off Amazon, 32 quid for a Glengarry 12. Give me it. So I've poured myself a very liberal amount compared to what I normally pour. So enjoy that, mate. Great to have you. Hope the fire's keeping you warm. Lowlander, brilliant to have you in, mate. Hope you're keeping well. Hope the East Coast is going well. I want to hear in the chat as well, Lowlander, and that. Tell us all about Whisky Fringe. I want to hear all the stories, what you thought. Did you agree with the pick of the festival? Was there any surprises? Desi's in. Desi, great to have you. Craig Ellicky, 19. Oh, going in strong right off the bat. Brilliant. Codger's coming in with a Scallywag chocolate easy pudding dram. Brilliant. And then Lowlander's just saying, has everybody bought tickets for the Independent Spirits Festival? I have not yet. I need to have a conversation with the family because it is, I think, a week or two before my birthday. So I just need to make sure that I can get the time away. I was very tempted by Newcastle next weekend. I know PX is going up, and I was so tempted, but its timing is too close to holidays and stuff like that, so I can't really get away with it. Amateur Casual saying, backdrop looking good, David. Great job with new shelving and lighting. Thank you, Amateur Casual. I've had great response from the 3-part series of what started as a bottle cleanup and turned into a refurb of the Black Lodge. I'm very happy with it. Mac was effusive with his praise when he came in. I've tried to make it as barrier-free for creation, as well as still being able to fully function as a bar and a space to have drinks. Know that many people come round, but it's there and it works. And if you haven't seen Mac's latest video, his rant about Japanese whiskey, filmed at the Black Lodge, I recommend you check it out. It's a really interesting take, and the amount of work that goes into that video, because I was here when he made it, it's an absolute Herculean effort that he puts in, so he deserves all his flowers for that. Like, I'm like hearing Roy and that praise it on Thursday night. I dropped him a text and I was like, mate, I'm so glad you're getting what you need in terms of just people appreciating it. Thomas Jones, welcome, Thomas. Great to have you in. I don't know if I had you in before, but you're more than welcome. Welcome to the madness. Pete had said, what, we'll be streamless for weeks? You will be streamless, but there's good stuff coming. There's really good stuff coming. There's some stuff has been under the radar as well that I've done that I've not posted on socials or anything. I've kept it really quiet. In Lowland, I managed to get to the Fife Whisky Festival. I saw it after they said it sold out, and I kicked myself, of course. I absolutely kicked myself. I was like, for God's sake, you had one job, David. It looks fantastic. Looks like a really great festival again this year. They put in such great effort on that, and I know that the people that go love it. And that's what Mike's saying. Festival season's upon us, so lots to look forward to. Whisky Live Paris and the Whisky Show. Yes, Whisky Live Paris I'm away for. I'm still on holiday. But the Whisky Show, it turns out I'm back, and now I'm scrambling a wee bit. So I'm trying to sort myself out for that. But there will be stuff going on around it. And also Glasgow. I'll definitely be at Glasgow, which I'm buzzing for, as always. Codger saying, going to have to agree with you there. Looks really good, David, to amateur casual. Thank you, Codger. Thank you. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's getting to a point that I'm quite settled with it and happy. James, brilliant to have you in, mate. I hope you're keeping well. And I saw your comment, so don't worry. I have water. I have a dropper. The water shall be going in more potent drinks when and if necessary. Because I know that me and Mac didn't really do as much of that. But we were just too excited to be doing the drams. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Lowlander, it was a tough gig, but was delighted to be asked. Really appreciated it. Where are we at? It's jumped forward. There we are, we're up to here. Peathead, regarding the Glasgow Edinburgh, heard this week that Thomas found a new spot on Hope Street, more or less across the road from the pot still. Off. You know, I was going to message a couple of people this week about that, and it's such a delicate situation that I kind of didn't want to stick my oar in to it, but that it's good news. But having it so close to each other, from a punter point of view, it should benefit them, but maybe hinder, like, it makes it really tight, that area, because you've got SNWS around the corner from the pot still, and now you'll have that right there as well. It's just going to be a whiskey haunt just constantly. But it does mean that where I'm looking to get a hotel for when I'm up in Glasgow this time, I was going to stay with family, but I'm going to be out and I'm going to be making quite a lot of videos and stuff and doing stuff during that weekend. I figured I'd just get a hotel in the city centre. So that's great news. That's really encouraging. I can maybe message a few people now and ask them for some more details. And Lowlander's saying, to be fair, I don't think I've ever had a pint of Murphy's or Beamish. I'll let better experts say it, but basically Beamish is a bit more smoky, and then Murphy's a little bit lighter than Guinness, in my opinion. And Tom's saying yes, I'm assuming about the Geary. And then Codger's saying, if you ever need a hand exploring whiskey bars anywhere, I could always hold the camera. Aye, Codger, and I'll pay you in drams. I'll pay you in drams for sure. Tom, I think it's gone. I think that deal's gone, but keep an eye on it. We're coming up. There's a segment coming up soon where we talk about the Amazon stuff and what you should be doing. Let's see. And Petehead kind of backing up that great video, Mac in the back, Black Lodge. Absolutely check it out. Yeah, it's quite. You don't need to know enough about Japanese whiskey. You'll get the theme if you don't know anything about Japanese whiskey, but it's just delivered with such clarity and such effort and such work to it. He sent me the script the night before, and it was detailed isn't the word. Like he knows his stuff. Lowlander saying that's great news because it's closer to Queen Street, so less of a walk home. Exactly. These are all factors. I'm so glad it's there. I'd heard rumours it was going to be in the Gorbals, which is south of the river, not too far south, but it's kind of out there a wee bit from the city centre, and as close as it can be, it can still be a bit of a distance for people and would put people off. John's in. Evening, John. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're doing well. I saw John last night was cracking open the latest Springbank 12 cask strength, which I need to get around to doing. Tom saying, I got a ticket to the Scottish National Whisky Festival in Aberdeen next week, but it's been radio silence and the bottlers, distillers will be there. I hate when that happens, Tom. It gives me no faith in what I'm going to. There's a couple of events down this way that do that. And sometimes it's because they've just not got around to doing it, and sometimes it's because they're trying to drum up more people to come, and they're trying to also drum up distillers and stuff to come. So I hope that it goes well. I know that there was the Whisky Week in Aberdeen. Was that this week? Where the different bars do different stuff, and I know they tried to do it in Glasgow, and the uptake was really, I think, quite poor. So they've postponed it to try and get more bars on board. I don't think they're linked to the festivals. They might be, but strange because I feel like there is quite we're firsting for festivals at the moment. Let's see. Chat's jumping about. Final pass. Here we go. If you had seen hotel already booked in Glasgow for this year already, near Pot Still, perfect. And Derek's saying I'm there next week to agree about the Loch Info Whisky Shop. Ran a tasting on the Friday last year. Lowlander saying, given how busy the Pot Still gets, I think it'll be good to have it close by. If one pub is busy, you can just cross the road to see if the other is quieter. Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think it's a negative in that way. I was just thinking, like, it was quite nice to have them a wee bit spaced out for a day. You can kind of, and the walk between the two, get you fresh air. Maybe grab some food on the way. Was always nice. Craig, welcome in. Great to have you. Great to have you in, guys. Danny's in as well. Great to have Danny in. We've got 33 people in at the moment, guys. Fantastic stuff. That's what I like to see, with everybody coming back in. It's whiskey time. People are back for it and ready for it. Codger saying, yep, he enjoyed Mac's video. Current state of Japanese whiskey, learnt a lot. And then Derek saying, Tommy said the last time I was in that he was looking at a spot in Sheriff's Court. Yeah, Derek, I think it was you that told me that. And over there, like, there's a lot of regeneration happening. It's not happened yet. And it's a little bit rough and ready over there at the best of times. So it's a bit different. And then, last comment for now, Amateur Casual saying, seen that Jura has had a bit of a brand relaunch and a reorganisation of their core range. I think they needed it too. I think they did, mate, to be honest. They're a brand that's not lacking in their troubles with whiskey community, but they're doing phenomenal in sales. I believe Jura 10 was the biggest selling supermarket whiskey last year, which is crazy for us to think of that, but your average consumer, that's what they're after, and that's what they want, so it's a bit different. Okay, last one before I move on to the next bit, but Lowlander saying, have I noticed that Spring 10's sitting on the shelf a lot more recently? Yes. All of that release, I walked into the Whiskey Exchange this week, my local one, and they had the 5 on the shelf. They had a 10. They had a Hazelburn, the last Hazelburn release. I can't remember if it was 9 or 11 years old or 13. And Kilkerran. Kilkerran What's Kilkerran 12 and the latest heavily peated. Kilkerran's hang about fair, but the others I was quite surprised, and I was in a while to chat to the guys, and people were normally you see people in this, they make a beeline for it and they just pull it and then it's gone, but it's sat about. I think it's only a good thing, but I've seen at auction that 5 is going for like 130, 150 quid. Just there'll be a whole other conversation about auctions coming up in future, because for all the downturn, you're not picking up many bargains at auction at the moment. It's a bit of a strange one. Not a bubble or anything, but just a little bit strange. And he's Lowlander just saying he did end up buying a couple bottles of the North Star Campbelltown Connection. I don't regret it. Lowlander, I've tried. I keep going back to it. I just find it a little bit rough. It's a little bit hot for me. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's my palate or what. But it never quite tickled me. I will go back to it. I find it like an old school dram, like an old Highlander, weirdly, as opposed to the old what do you call it, Campbelltown funk. But there we have it. Now, talking of drams, we're going to go back. As I highlighted earlier, we have the where's my little thing? It's not there anymore. We do have the dram lineup. Started with the Glenmo 12, just as a basic one. And for anybody new here that doesn't know, I always kind of showcase what drams I'm having. That handsome gentleman with me in the picture on the left is the Dutch left-back legend Arthur Newman, who looks like David Bowie, just in case anybody wonders. Starting with the Glenmo 12, then we have the Glengarioch 12, which is in the glass just now. I will then be moving, I think, to the Islay Barley 2014. When I first opened it, I found it a little bit, it wasn't doing much for my palate. See now, it is fantastic. It is phenomenal. Then I went for Distillery Edition 3 because I've got a bit left of that and I really kind of want to get through it. I'm trying to make a promise to myself to get through as many open bottles as possible. And then lastly, we've got the latest Springbank, the 5. I've already opened it. You can see I've got through the neck pour of it. And we can chat through that and have a wee chat about that. So it's business as usual in here tonight in the Black Lodge. Glengarioch 12, I'll sing its praises forever and ever. When I put it in, I put it in the Patreon when I saw the deal. So that in the Patreon we've got chats and bottled chats, and one of the lads asked, I've not had it, what's it like? And I was like, it's just a really nice, chewy, meaty, old school, but it's hard to describe. It's just, it works on so many levels. And normally it comes in at like 45, 50 quid. It's great. It's a really enjoyable dram. We've already hit the half an hour mark. Brilliant. This is why I love doing Saturday Night Drams. I love the community. I love you guys. I love the comments that fire about in here. And anybody new to this or anybody that's not enjoyed Saturday Night Drams before, it's all about the engagement with you, the other side of the camera. I'm the host, doing the drams, guiding it through, but you guys are powering it. And I tell people that. People say, how can you do it? I'm like, I'm nothing without the people on the other side. So massive appreciation to you guys. Now, I'm hearing in my ear, we might have somebody else, and it might be David in the field. I'm just seeing, is that who's there? Sorry, David, I'm not in the field. I'm actually in the woods. So it's David in the woods with Whisky News this week. Few weeks since we've done this, and in that time there's been a lot going on in the whisky world, so we'll just jump right into it. First up, Johnnie Walker announced their new global brand ambassador for their black label blend. It was, of course, the blonde bombshell, saucy songstress, the American wizard, of spirits. It was, of course, Sabrina Carpenter. Now, Sabrina is well known for her love of whiskey, as can be seen in this clip.
Oh no. All right. Whiskey, huh? So bad. Wait. I hope this is better. Just have to act. The thing. God awful.
And so what a perfect match amongst her young demographic and Johnny Walker Black. We can only wish them success and with how that goes. Now obviously that's not the only news that's going on. There's great news for Loch Lomond, who were awarded for their 18-year-old single malt the world's best, the gold, platinum, whatever you want to call it, at the IWSC Awards. The 18-year-old was ranked the world's best. Fantastic news for the hard work that's been going on behind the scenes at Loch Lomond. That's now them won it with their stablemate Glen Scotia, both being awarded this same award. It's 90 quid currently in stores. Hopefully we don't see a massive price jump that happened with the Scotia when that was awarded, but if not, probably is now the time to buy it. Next, we had the latest unveiling of the newest independent bottler on the scene, one cask at a time, hailing from the cask investment firm VCL Vinters, who operate out of a very well-known address, King William Street, a Regis second floor office that, if you Google it, a lot of historical but now defunct cask investment firms operate from there. The notable, the high follower count, influencers, whiskey enthusiasts, whiskey journalists and general whiskey affluence of audience were in attendance as they were flown up, they were trained up, they were put up in Edinburgh to attend a very decadent ball this week announcing their arrival. With prices ranging anywhere from £89 to £800 a bottle, one was left to ponder what exactly is paying for all of this. But when it's free, who cares? I hope everybody in attendance really enjoyed the whiskey. I'm really looking forward to your in-depth reviews, and when it comes on the shelf, I'll see if I can get a sniff of it. In more business-focused news, we are seeing the effects hitting staffing at distilleries currently. Rosebank Distillery this week announced the laying off of quite a number of staff. Tourist numbers haven't been great, sales I don't think have been great. It's got nothing to do with the £195 handful for a 12-year-old Tamdu. Why would that affect visitor numbers or cost? We're also seeing a notable turn from one of the large ones, Diageo, who have said maybe they've went too premium. So their acting CEO has came out and said, looking at the profit margins and chasing these low volume, high cost isn't quite working for them. It's the first of those the big manufacturers to actually announce this. So it'll be intriguing to see what the trickle down effect will have outside of fire sailing of special edition bottles, which we've all, I assume, taken part in. Now, as we're venturing and jaunting in to whiskey season from September through to January, more and more new releases are coming out. The big one this week, which you might have seen on your Instagrams and your news feeds and stuff, was the announcement that the Islay Jazz Festival is no longer in cahoots with Lagavulin for an exclusive bottling. Instead, it's its stablemate Caol who have announced one called The Guitarist, and it's an 18-year-old. I believe there's just over 900 bottles of it. Price, I'm not too sure on, so I'm just going to put it on the screen here, and if it floats your boat, then it will be available soon. Additionally, GlenAllachie have announced the latest turbo release from their Mico Tor peated selection. Now, I couldn't get a sniff of it because it flew off the shelves. I think anything related with Billy Walker plus peat has made people very, very keen to get hold of it. I did previously try the turbo at the GlenAllachie Distillery bar, and it was a really good peated dram. So I'm sure if you manage to get a bottle, you're in luck. We had Ardnamurchan announce a new Sauternes peated cask release. That came out last week as well. And basically from now until November, there's just going to be a constant trickle of new releases. as Whisky Show, Whisky season kicks off. Additionally, as I mentioned, there is a bit of a fire sale happening in whisky at the moment, with a lot of discounted bottles available across stores and online retailers. If you're in the UK, Amazon, the deals at the moment on Amazon have been quite ridiculous, with Glengarry 12 going for £32, you've got Bladnoch's going for £37, you have Glenmorangie going for under £30. Keep an eye on there to pick it up. Obviously support your local retailers, try your best to keep them going. It's been a tough year, and as we come deep into this season, try and use your pennies there if possible, but there are some great sales happening. Oh, before I forget, and finally on the news segment, I thought this would be a good wee shout out. Congratulations to the Benromach Champion Programme. The guys that were selected, all three of them, were up there last week, the week before, basically having a whale of a time, hands on at the distillery and picking casks. Now I'm giving a shout out to one of the viewers of this news segment and of the channel, Jeff Whisky. Congratulations mate, it's well deserved. I don't know how you wangled the time off, but you deserve it. Looking forward to trying that cask when eventually it gets out there, mate. Cheers. And that's been this week's news segment on Saturday Night Drams. As always, I've been David, usually in the field, today in the woods, and we're going to put you back to real life David, real time in the Black Lodge. Cheers. This is where you need the papers to shuffle or something. Oh, you're back. Welcome back. That was David in the field, or rather in the woods, as usual. And I just, it's been a busy old week. There's been loads of news stuff coming out this week, and I just thought I'd pick out a few of the key points. Now, one of those was there's been a few shots fired on a couple of platforms by a few people, and I bit my tongue. I really bit my tongue on it. But I did like 20 minutes of digging when I was walking the dog, and it's just madness, man, that people don't think to look into these things before they accept things. Like, it's very easy to see who company directors are, and it's very easy to connect the dots and realise what's going on. I'm tempted to do a separate video about it and try and turn it around, but I don't know if Jeff will do it, Jeff Whisky, because he's quite like a kind of deep dive topical one. I might drop him a message and see if he's doing it. If not, I might step up. It's difficult because it's litigious, and you need to be careful what you don't say, but you know, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's normally Jeremy Beadle. So let's see what's the chat, what's going on. Hope you enjoy it. I enjoy making those. That takes me far too much time to make, but I do it because it tickles me. So hopefully it tickles you guys as well. Right, who have we got? I see a few of the names, new names in the chat as well, which is always fantastic to see. Let me go up. Where are we at? Lots of chats about getting accommodation sorted for the festivals coming up. Fantastic. Yep, guys, I think got to find the right location. Where is he? We're nearly there. I apologise, guys. I need to get a producer. I need somebody like when you see those shows and they just shout, pull this up, get that up. Billy saying no Springbank or Kilkerran sitting on the shelves here in Norway. Yeah, I don't know how much it's shipped now. It was a release this week and it also out in less than an hour. Yeah, you guys have the government regulated as well, don't you? Is it? So I assume it must be really tough. If you're ever over, I can't remember, are you coming over for any of the shows? Where there's a will, there's a way, Billy. So don't worry about that. I'm sure we can get you sorted out. And then I'm seeing, could you saying from the auctions I've watched, the overall bottle count is down significantly, which is propping up the prices a bit, less to go around. Yeah, I think you've not got the speculators pumped in when new releases were coming in, so you were able to kind of drive down, but when Roy and like Aquaviti and stuff are talking about, oh, you can just pick up Springbanks for 10 quid more at auction, give or take, you know it's down quite a bit. But it seems the desirable ones, the core, the world still keeps turning in terms of whiskey auctions. Like, there's always been whiskey collectors and whiskey drinkers, and so we'll keep it to a level. I don't think we'll see the pricing drop too much, but it's still hard to snipe like some good bottles. To be fair though, I've not even been looking at auctions because I'm just not. I don't need any at the moment, and then I go on them and I think I don't even know what I'm looking for. Don't even know what I'm looking for. Mike's still not a fan of the new Glenmorangie branding. I pull that up. Yeah, it's a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if it's aging well. Sometimes brands age into it. When Benromach did their rebrand, it was highly controversial, and then it just fits now. The whole brand of it fits. I don't know if Glenmo lands quite there. Rob saying he needs to replace his bottle. Yeah, they're good, man. They're really good. It's just good stuff, isn't it? So it's kind of hard not to. And then there we go. That's who I saw pop up. John, welcome from San Diego. The German San Diego. Something to do with Wales. John, fantastic to have you in. How did you find us? Where did you come via the VPub takeover? And then we've got John saying, talk about auctions. Ardnamurchan's manager selection is going for... Yeah, I saw that. Like, on the whiskey shop auction. Like, what is... That's been sent around my whiskey group. Like, what is going on? Don't understand it. It kind of makes me fear the opportunity to get one of Roy's, the Aquaviti bottling. Because is that going to do this? Are people going to hold... Like, I don't think the barflies of that will do it. But you know what I mean? It's going to be a sought-after bottle. And then this is relating to the news content. If you're just joining now, guys, please make sure you go back and watch the news segment. And for any of the Patreons, that segment will be getting put up on Patreon as well for your own leisure. So I don't expect you all to have to watch the live stream to see that stuff. Kyle saying it's great. He loves a field report. As I said, I enjoy making them. It's good fun. But yeah, it's the news segment. I have to not bite my tongue a wee bit, but with Lowlander saying here I'll be scratched off the Rosebank Christmas list. I'm not on the list. They invite. I don't know if you've seen some of the content that like other people have put out. I'm a big fan. I like Glengoyne. I think Tandu is fantastic. I have an emotional connection to Glengoyne. It was the first distillery I visited way back in the day. Weirdly, with Peter, that works at the Good Spirits Company, I used to work with in a bar years ago. And me and him went. I had organised a trip for us all to go as a wee exchange, and we had a great day. So I've always had a really close affection for Glengoyne. And then Tamdu, got into Tamdu, and I think Tamdu's phenomenal liquid. I've never had Rosebank, but I just scratch my head. I really do scratch my head at some of the decisions. I know they're trying to go premium at Ian McLeod, but come on, man, like, it ain't going that way. It ain't going that way. We're seeing it across the board. So decisions will need to be made. I don't know, but look, £195 for a 10-year-old handful is disgusting, and I don't care. I don't care saying that out loud. If it was a 10-year-old that sat in a cask and then been bottled 40 years ago and it was old stuff, I don't know, but not into that. John saying Diageo might listen to the community's name. Seems far-fetched. I believe it when I see it. I think what this interim CEO who is the CFO, I believe, is saying is, and he looked at stuff like Don Julio and that as well, saying like, why are we pushing stuff here? We need to bring people in here and bring them along. And they use Johnny Walker as an example of like red to black, green, blah 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 blah. But there is, I don't know if there's a course correction coming. It'll be interesting to see how much the new special releases come out at this year, because nobody's buying them now. Well, no one was buying them, but you're kind of, once you've discounted them at that rate, it's like Lagavulin. Lagavulin was 65 quid. 16, and then they put it up to 85.90 and no one bought it, and now it's constantly drops up and down on sale at 60, 65 quid. You just wait for that and you buy it. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think it's where it's important is it's one of the big ones saying it and saying like we're struggling with it, and if they're struggling with it, the rest are struggling. Now we have examples of the smaller distilleries, the newer ones and stuff that of course not even course corrected, but made decisions to keep the liquid going and get in the hands of drinkers. Glasgow comes up all the time, and it's a great example, and that's why it comes up all the time. Going from 500ml bottles to 700 when they could get it up, keeping the price the same, the quality of the liquid, that understanding that okay, it's cask strength, but it only needs to be 10 or more because of the proof and the technical. Like it's not been these huge jumps. Ardnamurchan can do it as well. Like everybody, like I always fall back on those. There's quite a lot of examples now of people doing it. Wireworks, English whiskey, fantastic. So I think it's important that the big ones are starting to course correct, and maybe they'll need to start moving. I think I went on a rant about Ardbeg and the price of Ardbeg and how that shot up, and then Ardbeg the 10 started dropping the price to where I should have bought it after I said if it was that price I would buy it, and I still never bought it. So fool me, but even they're starting to drop it now. So when LVMH, like the Glenmorangie stuff, the Quinta Rubin, that dropped in price, that's why I bought it. That, like, there is a course correction happening because there's a lot of glass and liquid sitting on shelves. Cujo saying, I left with nothing after stopping by Rosebank. I don't want to layer on, but with the location they have an opportunity to drive tourists into the experiences and shop if set up right. That's my point. That's my point in Lowland. I just confirming 250. Yeah, it is quite bad. To be fair, 250 being the point for the Jazz Fest bottling of Kilila. Still a Lagavulin Jazz bottling. In fact, I'll leave it for the kids to sell. Exactly. It's just, it was one of those ones when I first got into whiskey, I was really intrigued and I really wanted, and I looked at auction, and I think a lot of us come in that way. And then over time, I would buy these face shield bottles of Lagavulin and just be like, what am I doing? John saying, I'm new to this channel, this content is cracking. I appreciate it, mate. I really do. I appreciate anybody and all joining. And now the chat's jumped to the bottom. Let's see, where are we at? Peter saying, great news report. Thank you. And also, where is Jeff Whisky? I'm going to assume he's sleeping or doing all the baby duties. All the baby duties, because how the hell did he get to go up to the Highlands for 5 days with a fairly newborn, you know? Kel saying, okay, a pile of Yellowtail has been conquered and I'm onto the first pull of the night. An 18-year-old Dunedin, New Zealand whiskey. Fantastic. Brilliant. John saying Benromach's killing it. Just nominated them from favourite distillery. Yeah, they are. And that was the funny thing about the rebrand, because I think the old brand with the handwriting on the bottom, that I wasn't the biggest fan of either. And it's just funny how quick people jump and then forget. But aye. Let's see. I'm just going through these chats. I'm seeing, oh, there's Tony in. Tony, welcome. Thanks everybody for shouting that out. I nearly missed it. Tony's in. Fantastic, guys. How we doing? We're getting 34. Guys, drop a like. I'm saying drop the likes. Let's try and keep the pace going and get more people in, especially newbies, new people in. You guys can welcome them into the fold. So Tony's saying, where is it? Just gonna jump down. There we go. Put a few cheeky low bids on stunning bottles in the current SWA. Can't imagine I'll win any, but if too many bottles as it is, lol. Tony, the trick is, as I say, you put the bids in at the highest amount that you want to pay, like, and then you walk away and you forget, and then you go in when the auction's finishing, and then you frantically add more money on top. And all that good advice goes out the window. Frank's just opened a recent auction win. Adelphi GlenAllachie 13. Brilliant. GlenAllachie's a cracking dram. One of those that just gets forgotten about, doesn't it? Billy, I was lucky, got a hand on 2 different Springbank and 2 different Kilkerran on release, so I'm good. Fantastic. And Peter saying from the first sip, the GlenAllachie is great. And then John saying the YouTube algorithm recommended the stream to me. Fantastic, mate. That's why I'm saying it was speaking to some other YouTubers, not just in whiskey and that, and the likes are quite important now. More so, especially on lives, because it shows people engaging. The chat is a big factor. I don't need to talk about the chat. You guys cover that very well. And so I'm like, well, what else can I do? There's likes, there's engagement, subscriptions. Like and subscribe, you know, if you want to. It's that old thing. I always forget. I even forget when I make the videos to say in it, subscribe. But trying my best. Trying my best. We're focusing. We're on a run. I passed 1,600 subscribers, and it's been a long old road to that over the last 3 years. But I'm still here, still grinding away, still loving it. John saying don't get to watch many live streams. No, but John, the reason that, if you notice, I read out all the comments and that is a good few of the watchers of the stream are on catch up, and they also use it as almost like a podcast while they're working and stuff. So I just like to keep the engagement. So you, as much as the chat's fantastic when you come in, it's also, you don't miss out. So don't worry about that. See. Kojo's saying that, yeah, they're about 3 years too, Ian McLeod's 3 years too late. Yeah, but I think they're all a bit late, to be honest. I think hopefully we'll see a bit of a course correction and get back there. Right, I've seen it. I'm seeing some chat here. Andy, I managed to pick up a Tandu 18 for 70 quid. Brilliant, man. There we go. That's what we need. Amateur Casuals doing a shout out saying, anybody got an Instagram account? Always good to follow fellow enthusiasts on there. Yes, guys, if you've got Instagram, please do drop it in the chat. Just give it a shout. I'm on there as Drinks Whisky. That's where this whole thing started, was Drinks Whisky on Instagram. I post stories on there all the time. Posts, not so much, but stories constantly, and it's great to just snoop and see what the rest of the world's doing in the whiskey space. It is Kentucky Bourbon Festival weekend, where I think I've said it on the stream before, but if not, I was offered a press pass. I was offered the chance to go this year, months and months back, and I was buzzing, and I thought, I have air miles, I have an upgrade voucher, I can fly out, take 2 cases, I can come back with tons of great bourbon, it'll be amazing. Okay, I say, and then the way it's went over there, and that's why the road trip to the Highlands with my friend Jack from the States happened. And I'm editing that at the moment, and the reason it's still not out is because I'm struggling with the song choice, and song choices, the soundtrack of it, and I'm also struggling with, I was driving, so I couldn't take any video of the drive, and so I just teleport to places. Because Jack works in, the irony of Jack is Jack works in film, but doesn't film. He writes. So he doesn't think to film stuff. So I don't really have any of the journey to these places, which normally is when I can get the music going and get the vibe going and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out a way, but it will come. It will come. And then Lowlander's saying, that reminds me, I bumped into the Benromach reps in the pub after the Whisky Fringe. They all cheered when Dundee scored against Rangers. Just saying. Look, most people cheer when that happens, to be honest, Lowlander. I'm used to it. It's not going to get a rise out of me, even though you try. And then Kuju says, yeah, sounds about right, the auction at Rice, of course. Jeffrey, no worries, a bit late. I set it up, and it was meant to put up on YouTube saying that this broadcast was going to happen, and then when I went to tweak it, I noticed it was listed under private, so it didn't quite do the thing it was supposed to do. That was my fault, so apologies. are from me. Let's go through. Let's see what else I've got. Tony's on a Glen Cadam 10 just now. Great dram. Fantastic dram. That Glengarry 12 is lovely. It can be everything you want it to be. You can sit with it and think about it, or you can just dram it as you're doing other stuff. And that to me is just what you want. Alan Smith saying that he renewed his SMWS and he got a 10-year-old Ben Nevis mystery bottle, only 67.3 ABV. What's the cask on that, Alan? I'd love to know what you're getting. That's my watch beeping there saying it's a bedtime reminder. That's how you know you're getting old. No, I'm good. Right, we're up to date with the chat. So you guys chatting amongst it. On to the next dram, which is poured in this smaller glass. And for context, because people do worry and they go, God, you drink a lot of whiskey on these streams. Like, oh God, that was a terrible idea. Thought that glass was empty. This is where the stream starts short circuiting because that just fell a wee bit on the keyboard. Thankfully, high alcohol is fine. No, it's not a lot. It's actually less than a normal standard pour. But this one is the Islay Barley 2014. Now I purchased this. I am going to pull out my phone and have a wee look. I purchased this thanks to a wonderful Easter code that went round at Easter. No surprises there. That apparently was for friends and family only, but like I must have been sent it about easily by 5 different people in the space of an hour, saying, "Oh, I've got this code from my brother, or I've got this code from such and such. Do you want it?" And we all used it. So this cost me, I'm just pulling up the order thing here. That Islay Barley cost me a grand total of £35. I got 50% off, and then I also got an Octomore edition 14.1 for £84 instead of £140. So it was can't really complain at that. 35 quid. People go, how have you got so many bottles? Because I'm Scottish by nature. A deal's a deal. So much going on in that. We step up and proof, it's 50%. There's that wonderful farminess to it, if that makes sense, like a farmyard, like not quite touching Kilhoman way to it, but it's just a great dram. It's just so fruity and so rich. But by fruity, it's not like jammy or this or that. It's just brilliant. I'm not going to sell it to you guys. You guys know how good Bruichladdich is when it's good, and like an Islay Barley and stuff like that. I will though, for James in the chat, I will add a wee bit of water to it. Bring it down a bit. Opens it right up. When you reset your palate, how do you guys reset your palate, your nose and stuff? Because you'll see me do that a lot, and I don't really explain it a lot of the time, but I was told if you smell between your arm and then go back, and it works for me. It becomes vibrant. The fruit's vibrant. The palate becomes a little bit more wood influenced. I wouldn't say peppery or anything, but there's a little bit more dryness to it with water. I'm seeing that the conversations were going on about the SMWS chat. So Alan getting the 67.3. I've got my Glenrothes, which I think was the second bottle I ever bought from SMWS. That's up there. It's like 68, 69%. And it's called Dragon's Blood Fragrance Oil. And it was meant to taste like s'mores. Chocolate s'mores. And I tried it and I just couldn't taste anything. My lips went numb. Very early days of my whiskey journey. Big lesson there. Yet now I can actually get the s'mores taste out of it now. It's only taken me 3.5 years. But I can now taste s'mores. You see, there's a Glenlivet, it's 65% as well. Thought that was outlier in the collection. I look at it as value. Dilute it down. More bang for your buck. Petehead saying that it sounds hot, but it might be an easy sipper. I'd a 65 plus SMWS Glen Talkers that was easier without water than some 50%. Yes, and I find that sometimes when you can add water to it, it can ruin it. There's a whiskey I had recently, a Virgin Oak. It was the GlenAllachie Virgin Oak exclusive for the Whiskey Exchange. So I tried it. It cast strength. It was lovely and it drank well. And for a Virgin Oak, it wasn't as Virgin Oaky as you would expect. But you added water to it. It became all wood. And it oaky, and it wasn't for me at all. So it's funny. So that when people ask me, "Oh, do you not add water to these are strong whiskies?" And I'm like, sometimes you add it and it just kills them. John saying, I'm just getting out of the airport. It's been a great stream. Still laughing over that Johnny Walker Black Ambassador video. Make that into a shot and I bet it goes viral. John, I would, but it's not worth the grief. It's not worth the grief, but I appreciate it. I appreciate that you enjoyed it. And hopefully we see you again. Thanks for dropping in. Can I get that? I'm clicking on the wrong thing there to try and get that comment up there. Where is it? Jeffrey there. Jeffrey saying, love the look of the... Oh, come on. There we go. Why is that not doing it? There. Oh, come on. There we go. Love the new look of the Black Lodge. Is that actual black light? It's not. It's just purple. It's just purple light. God forbid putting black light on those bottles. No, it's just lighting, various lights and methods and whatever. If you have a look at the behind the scenes videos of when I'm doing it, you'll see them. There's they're garden lights. They were originally to go in garden and then you wire them up, but I just put them on little arms and then I can change colours quite easily. But it's a pain because when you change your colours and then you try and remember what you set them as before for videos, it constantly changes. Good night, John, and have a great day where you are. The day is but young, so the day will be what? It's 10 to 11. 8 hours, San Diego. 3 o'clock. So good. And right. I'm going to, before I answer that comment, Tony, I'm not sure a black light in the Black Lodge is a good idea. David seems to really like his whiskey. Tony, I really do. And if, you know, I am also a father and a full-time job and etc. I come down here, I can barely raise a smile. So there's none of that happening. I can guarantee you that. And to Alan's interesting video, Kanpai, yeah, he did, and we filmed a couple of videos, and one of them was actually unintentionally, at the time, because we were filming and we were trying to do stuff, and we set up the cameras, very similar setup to how it was, and he was doing an unboxing on, I'm going to spoil it, but it's an unboxing video for his auction wins, and I tried to set up a camera, but all it did was capture like this receding hairline at its absolute worst. So it's a side profile of my head, just like this, the entire time. So I don't know how we're going to edit it together, but it's, I give him forewarning, and it was his first ever auction buys, and he said he'd watched my videos and given praise to those, and I said, oh, I just hope that you've checked the bottle size. You couldn't make it up. Well, you could, but I had no idea what was coming. So we've got that to edit. Then we also did a collab video of tasting some Japanese whiskey, and halfway through the mic connection just stopped, and so we've had to redo it. So I'm dreading trying to edit that. Trying to pick up the pace because it was going so well, and then I realised that the audio just gone. I don't know if we're going to Frankenstein it together or try and redo it or whatever, or pull it together. But no, it was really good. It was great to have him here. It was great to have someone else who has a foot in both worlds of drinking whiskey and whiskey enthusiasm, but also making content and just seeing the different processes and how people think about different stuff. It was really good. It was really, really good to have him here. And the video that he's done is flying. It's absolutely flying. I'd started editing a wee ending for him. It never made it in, unfortunately. I might ask him if I'm allowed to share my ending. It was a very Black Lodge Twin Peaksy ending, because I thought that'd be funny. But it's his channel. I don't think his audience would know what the hell's going on. And you're saying, oh, the purple is soothing. Lol. No, it's more because I just felt like doing a whole back and forward behind it, like the whole gamut of colours. That was it. The blue sometimes can look a little bit too cold. Alan saying, sorry, missing the start. Are you drinking the Springbank 5 tonight? I opened it the other night. I had a few drams and I posted my initial thoughts on Instagram, and those initial thoughts, I'm just going to read back what I wrote so I'm accurate. But my initial thoughts with them were, I had a couple of people comment they thought the same, which was, it's always nice to know. I said, it's young for sure, it's fresh, funky, and it's not an intro dram for dabblers. No judgment yet, we'll let the bottle get a bit about it. It's not bad though. That was my Instagram post at Drinks Whisky. And I posted in the Patreon as well to see if anybody else had it, and then I spoke to a few people. Some people love what it is and what it's about. It's a little bit oily, it's a little bit young, blah, 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 blah. I'll pour that one next. I'll get up and I'll pour that one next. But it's a 5-year-old Springbank at 100 proof. It says what it's going to be on the tin. Do you know what I mean? It's upfront about it. It's not lying about anything. So I don't know what I expected it to be other than that. And I think when you read the Dram Face review of it and you read some other people's opinions, they're all fair and they're all obviously subjective and to the point. But someone messaged me and we were chatting and they were saying, like, based on that, what would you think? Is it worth it? And I was like, if a Springbank 10 and that was sitting on the shelf and you get in that headspace of, oh, but it's 57.1%, so it's got a cool label, we should maybe go for that, I would probably pick up the 10. Just from a pick up and pour and drink point of view, But that's based on the first neck pour of that bottle. And I think with time, it's going to get better. I'm sure it's going to be great tonight after a few drams. I went into that, no drams, just that. So that was kind of my viewpoint on it. Right, just, sorry guys, just get up there. Here we go. That reminds me when Aquavita was showing what he was bidding on and something like that. Yeah, it was the Rose Isle release. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the video, and then something similar happens. Well, Alan's saying fair evaluation since we're getting a lot of hype. Rather pay a few more quid for the 10. Yeah, it is what it is. And then there's Lowlander backing up as well. So we all kind of landed in the same place. James saying I could go for a high proof young bourbon, so why not? Different though, James. I would say the high proof young bourbon, it ages so rapidly in the environment. This is a 5-year-old from Campbelltown, you know, like it's not getting a lot of heat and it's not getting a lot of barrel. And when I'll go and pour it, it is very light. Like you're talking probably lighter than that, and that's not that dark. There we go. Sad that we'll never get our Echo edition, the North Star Echo edition. But I'm just brushing over that Echo. That was all my fault. It was all my tech's fault. One of the things that we're looking at doing, and I've had a few people ask, is events, catch-ups, meetups, tastings, blah, 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 bottles, all that jazz. Now, I am just waiting. I need to reach out to a couple of people and find out just a couple of things around Glasgow Whisky Festival. I have every intention of trying to do something, an in-person thing, be it a tasting or just drams or whatever. But I'm conscious there's a lot that goes on that weekend and timings and people flying in and flying out and all that kind of stuff. Patreons will get first shout, and they'll also get first heads up and help advise on that. And then Whisky Show, once I find out if I can get a ticket or which ticket I get. The Sunday tickets available, but ideally Sunday's not really the best day for someone in my position and that work and fatherhood and etc. So we're waiting to see, but if I land a Saturday ticket, I'm going to aim to do something on the Thursday or maybe the Friday before it. If I get the Friday ticket, I'll look at doing something on the Saturday in London. I've got a charity tasting coming up. It's organised a couple of weeks after the Whisky Show in London, and if that goes well, the concept and theme that I'm doing there, I'm going to replicate that in Glasgow, hopefully. So there's a lot of little moving parts going. As I teased earlier about the lack of streams coming up, just because I'm going on holiday, finally, summer holiday. We have Drams on the Run, the Highland adventure, for lack of a better word. There's also a couple of for me or no for me's to come, and there is also a couple of bonus Drams on the Run that just recently happened. Short but sweet. Looking at the duty-free situation in a couple of places. Nothing too exciting, but a bit of fun. So there's loads going on. Loads happening, but there's mechanisms and there's things happening in the background. I'm trying to keep moving. So even though I've been off the Saturday Night Drams, I've been doing a lot of stuff, the content with Mac and that, and editing it, and try to get all that out the door. Think about what bottle to get. Glasgow Whisky Festival. I'd hold on. Like last year, there was one that I regretted not getting, which was the Enigma from Cadenheads. That was fantastic, and I should have got it. I think it was like 55 quid, and it would have been like 45 quid with that tenner. Alan said, in fact, I'm coming to London with family week starting 13th of October. I'll pop in the back lodge for a tasting. Only joking. I would not get away with that. Alan, give me a shout. I missed him. I messed up. Highland Hamish from Inverness, the Dram caddy, he was down the other week, and on the he messaged me, and I read it. But I read it while I was with my daughter, and then all that stuff happens. You've got a million things you're juggling, whatever, and I forgot until the Wednesday. And I was kicking myself. I need to message him back. I've been so embarrassed. But absolutely, that week, give me a shout, especially if you're in central London. I work in central London, so I'll be about. I'll be able to come have a dram with you if you can find somewhere to escape to. Oh, cracking dram that. A Bruichladdich Islay Barley. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I've just seen this comment from Lowlander, and he's been quiet, and I'm gonna call him out. You've got that tenner to use for Whisky Fringe, right? Talk to me. Highlights of the drams, please, Lowlander. What stood out to you? Any surprises? I saw that the winner of that, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it in the video, in the news, was the Pulteney, old Pulteney, 17-year-old from Rarefind. Was voted as the best one. But do let me know. Let me know in the chat. Now, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm going to go a wee bit quiet as I make my way to the drams. So I'll turn the music up a wee bit while I do this. But in the meantime, you can also have a wee listen to the big man.
Hi there. Hello there.
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. El Barge.
And we're back. There we go. So, we have, as you would have seen there, we've got the Springbank 100 proof 5-year-old. It's been open for, what did we on Saturday? I feel like I was watching something while I was having this. Tuesday, maybe? Wednesday I opened this. That lie? No, it was Thursday. It was only Thursday that I opened it. On the nose, I'll be honest, off the bat, it's a lot better. Oh, I need to turn that music down. It's a lot better than it was on initial. On initial, it was really young. Now, it feels there's a little bit more depth to it. Still smells a little bit spirity, a little bit ethanol-y. Like, there's still... Would I place it as a Springbank? It's tough at that proof, I'll be honest. Does have a little bit of the cast strength vibe to it. It drinks young. It's oily. It's still vibrant. It's vibrant with its youth. It is a little bit funky. Bourbon forward in the cask. It's alright. It's alright. I had a feeling this would happen. I had a feeling this would happen with the nature of what I've been drinking tonight. Of being like good solid drams. Building up to this. I'm going to put some water in it. A little bit sherbety. Perfumed. Much better. Much better. Night and day. Much better. Bit of water in that. Wasn't a lot. We squirt. Let's see, where were we? Someone was saying, was that where are we at? Lowlander saying, I never got around to tasting my favourite dram of the Thompson Brothers 1991 Lafroig halftime orange dram. Is that where you went? Did you go there? Did you see on the VPub? I need to go back and get the recipe that Pete gave when I did the halftime orange last year with him. It was just this orange bomb. But I did discover that if you're nice enough and polite enough and a little bit, a few drams in the back half, you can taste some of the halftime orange drams with the right people. So I hope you managed to pull that off. Lowlander saying, was that the guy from the Little Brown Dog Spirits? Have you seen, if anybody's not seen the Little Brown Dog Spirits latest video, they absolutely should seek it out. It is very much
But if I ever see you nosing it like this, I'll kill you.
It's a parody of the great man himself. But there was some things in that from a video, like I made years ago when I used to make videos. Like I've made videos for years and years. They're still on the internet. I sent a video I made to a friend with that video, and he knew the first video that I'd made, and I sent him that, and I went, do you think somehow they've seen this? And he reckons yes. He reckons yes. There's a lot of similarities. And I'm not even in that video. That's the thing. I just directed and shot it. Let me know if you want to see it. I will drop the link in. It's up there. But it's the sort of video that I would still make today if I could. And you see it in some of my videos. You see it sneaking in, just some bits of it, but not all. You've seen some nice pubs in the river near London Bridge. They take a lot of visitors in the Thames boat from Greenwich. Yeah, it's lovely. Like there is, and it's such a historic part of the world, isn't it? I took the Uber boat from work the other day just because we had sports day at Battersea Park. I was like, they wanted me to take like tubes and then walk for 30 minutes and that. And I was like, I'm getting the boat. Just took that Uber boat straight down to Battersea Power Station. It was lovely. Derek, good man. The rare find old Pulteney is waiting to be collected when I get to Aberdeen next week. I think I saw one in the Whisky Exchange. And it was 95 quid. So I think it was Pulteney 17. And I was on the fence about it. But everybody's been raving about it, saying it's fantastic. Billy bought my first Springbank local barley this week. Can't wait to pick it up and taste it. Been trying to get one for a couple of years. What one was it you got, Billy? Let us know. Alan saying he's not sure who the 5-year-old is aimed at. I feel like they've released an enthusiast, but already looks like it's getting flipped. Yeah, so I was in two minds about opening it, not for flipping, but for more based on some of the feedback I'd seen. And then one of the guys on Instagram had messaged me and saying, I'm looking forward to what you think. I have thoughts. And I was like, are you saying this isn't very good? Because it's still 50 quid. You know, I don't want to open something for the sake of it being 50 quid. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'll open it, and then worst case, I can dish it out to people. I'll just dish it out. Here, try it, so everybody can try it. Something I'm looking at doing. Again, I'm not trying to shill the Patreon, but it's stuff, I can do stuff on there that I can't do on YouTube and I can't do on Instagram, such as like offering one of the things that a Patreon suggested, and I've been looking into, is doing a wee tasting, online tasting. It's easy to do. We can set up a Zoom and just do an online tasting. And so I thought, well, I can use the Springbank 5 for that. I'm with you. I don't know who it's for. I don't quite. If I want cast strength, I want the cast strength 12-year-old. 10's great, 15's fantastic, 18 great, 21. Do you know what I mean? Like, but they now have more stocks, and they can get more out. And if that 5-year-old's going to fund being able to sit on the older stocks, etc., then fair enough. Max in, welcome back. Just catching up with the stream. Well, I'm catching up with the chat as well. I now have auction bottle size PTSD all over again. Oh mate, one of the best things ever, just to be in that situation. Your face, just me trying to reassure you, no, it'll be full size when you were pulling it out of the box, and then as you just unwrapped the bubble wrap. These guys don't even know yet. Wait till they see it. But it's good whiskey. We will say that. It is good whiskey, so it's nothing bad. Peterhead, just poured myself the last dram of the evening at Independent Booner. PT'd 48% from a hogshead. Fantastic. Booner's good. When Booner's good, Booner's great as well. Alan said he managed to get a second halftime orange after finding a stray ticket. Managed to get the Rosebank. Just going through the chat just now. And we've got Tony. Matt's getting lots of praise from the guys. Of course he is, because the video was fantastic. Roy gave you a nice shout on the V-Pub on Thursday. Don't know if you were on or not. Definitely enjoying the content. Great. I think he's saying I was on and I got very emotional. It's always like genuinely, it's quite a solitary task, the old YouTubing, and so to get the praise from your community means the world. And I'm sure I wasn't alone texting Mac to say, like, mate, well done. Like, I can see that you're seeing this just now, but also so happy. I don't know about that, to be honest. That's me. You just heard my honest reaction to that 5. It's hot. It's young. I'll give it time. But Springbank cash strength is phenomenal. But it's 12 years old. Springbank 10 is great. At 46%. And maybe a wee bit more water. See if we can do something with it. But it's... Oh, that's sharp in the throat as well. Never what you want to see. Oh, Alan can't make next week's Independent Bottlers Festival in Newcastle. Does anyone want a ticket? Honestly, I keep in my head going over it, and I'm like, I would love to try and make my way up there. I looked at trains. Trains were expensive. I looked at flights, using air miles to try and get up. That looked like a possibility. I looked at driving, then I was like, I can't drive up because then I can't drive down. And then Lowlander saying, quote, "It's hot, it's young, I'll give it time." Look, it's not that kind of stream. All right, Lowlander. I know it's a Saturday night, but it's not the BBC. Caol saying, let me just move that over here. Speaking of size, got lucky while helping a friend clean out the basement of his fam's vacation home on the Cape. Gave me a 4.5 litre bottle of Dewar's white label from 1975 we found. Always help your friends. Kyle, you know what to do? Do me a favour. Buy a current bottle of white label. Right? When you crack that 4.5 and do a head-to-head. Right? And even mix them up. Get even AB it and mix them up. And get somebody to like hand you it blind. I'd love to know what the difference would be like for that. I'm picking up. I'm definitely doing the. I'm going to chase the views. Why not? I'm going to do the black label. I've got the old bottle of black label there. I'm going to get a new bottle. I'll use Sabrina Carpenter espresso or something. Like, and we'll try the difference between the two flavour profiles. I'm seeing a lot more whiskey people, especially picking up old blends, a lot of old blends, and diving in. I'm editing this Highland video just now, and when I'm up there, I try I'd say that it's not Glenlivet, but it's from Bell's, but it was called the Glenlivet. I'm not quite sure exactly what it was I had. It was an old bottle, and it was very dusty and whatever. Oh, that's 70 proof, it said. But then that 70 proof wouldn't be 37.5, it'd be over because of the Scottish proof. Try to work it out. But when I was editing it. So it's definitely, if you find something like that, it's worth just doing the head-to-head. And seeing what goes on, because the old stuff it's great. The old Dusties. And then I saw a comment. I'm just trying to find the comment. If you don't mind me, sorry, I'm scrolling through. There was a comment about. Where was it? Someone said they were drinking Kodja. Kodja was drinking in honour of Mac. I have a Dram of Fuji. Is it Japanese? And Max came in and said, Kieran, is it Kieran's Fuji single grain, single malt and single blended are all Japanese whiskies. I've reviewed the single grain. And Codger's saying he's got the single malt. Fantastic. PX talking about the old bottles. I do recommend find your favourite distillery and then the blend closest to it. Find a 1980s-ish bottle and compare to recent. I did Glenfiddich and gosh. What gave you the shock or the goshness, PX? Like, what, if you don't mind me asking, like what kind of brought it together for you? Was it a quality difference? Was it was it a feel? Was it a mouth feel? Was it colour? Okay, I was saying that's a great idea. We'll do, because who doesn't need more than 5 litres of white label? Look, worst case, you can go back to renovating that old on the Cape house. You could just use it to strip paint. You know. There he is. Welcome in, Glen. Bar 220. Hello. I know a Saturday's your big day for actually having fun and being sociable, mate, out in the real world. So I really appreciate you being able to join. Just checking the time there. You've got a lot to catch up on, but I'm sure the chat will always keep you updated. It's much better with a lot of water in it, and for anybody joining late, that's me talking about the Springbank 5-year-old. But then you're kind of diminishing the point of getting the 5-year-old. I think I'm going to go and get the 10. I'm going to go and get the 10 and just... I know what's going to win here, but I'm going to go and get the 10. Mac, off to IB for tomorrow, so off to sleep. Drinks whiskey, you're a legend. Much love to everyone in this incredible community. Mac, thank you so much for joining in this evening, especially when you're off to the party island tomorrow. Not jealous in the slightest. Who knew there was such a vibrant Japanese whiskey community on Ibiza? Because that's obviously what you're going to do. Have a fantastic time, and again, thank you for all your help last few weeks. 10 will blow it out the water. We're going to have to go. We're going to have to see in real time, aren't we? And Glen's off to get a dram, as he should. Hello, Anderson. Will you be bringing the horse racing back to? Maybe, Lowlander. Maybe. That's all I'm going to say there. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to switch to dram cam, but dram cam at the moment doesn't really quite fit purpose, so I will have to shift that so you can see what I'm doing.
But if I ever see you nosing it like this, I'll kill you.
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. El Bosch.
El Bosch indeed. Big John. Thank God Big John's turned out not to be mental. Don't know if you saw him in Newsnight in the UK the other night. He's got one of this associated with Chinese takeaways. Right, we're going to go for the 10. Just a small-ish pour for that. Appreciate you hanging back while I was doing the dram cam. Loch Lomond at 3 year. I'm still having some of that distillery free. I know 3-year-old, but distillery free. But in the interest of science, now this batch is hailing from, when is this one? This 10. February 23 was this batch. Some people care. I don't know if that's a good one or a bad one.
How are you?
It smells like a Springbank 10, to be honest. It's 46%. Easy going. Right, now that's interesting. Now, the nose on this is infinitely better. All of a sudden, that 5-year-old. It's almost like a faint smoke. This is fruitier. Now I've added a lot of water to that. I'm all of a sudden getting a lot of citrus in the 10. A lot of citrus in the 10. Wild. Absolutely wild. Did not expect that at all. It's almost like tangerine. Like, what's going on? Then a bit of malt coming through as well. Right. That's the 5 done, dusted, but that's turned into like a chocolate tangerine. I'm so confused. So confused. Odd. We'll give it a minute or two. Don't need to be necking them. Right. Where are we at? Billy's just poured himself a Lafroig quarter cask. Love a Lafroig quarter cask. By the way, if anybody's got the chance, Key 1 Unicorn bottling Korean whiskey. I tried it at the whiskey show last year. Pretty sure I put it in the whiskey show video that I did. I was blown away for an entry to the market whiskey from Korea, at how mature it was, how good it was. I wasn't blown away in the same way that I was with the Indri, because the Indri was just like, wow, this feels like this has been around for years and this is just really mature whiskey. But I was blown away by, I think I've been kind of stung a bit by Japanese whiskey and that, when it comes to this new whiskey and whatever, you try it, I'm not too sure. The Key 1 Unicorn was unbelievable. It reminded me of Lafroig quarter cask, and that's where I went instantly when I tried it. And then Billy, when we did the VPub, he's like, oh, I'm going to do the Key 1 Unicorn, and I was like, great shout. It's such a, like, I would have if you weren't. So I've been looking at buying a bottle. I just need to buy it. They have it in the Whiskey Exchange. But it's just with you, Billy, saying that about that. It's just really enjoyable. Jeffrey giving a shout out to bar 220 to Glen. And then Lowlander saying, enjoy, you're going to the clubs until 6 in the morning. Kanpai saying, large. Oi, oi, you nutters. And then James is saying, I suggest we all pull out a Springbank 10 if we have one. Absolutely. Let's all get on it. Big John was on Newsnight. Bosh. Yes, he was. And the most depressing and uplifting thing about it is that he just made a lot of sense. He just said about everything that's going on. At the moment, there's stuff, there's no politics chat or anything on this, because we're just here for the whiskey and we're having a good time and whatever. But the flag flying and all that. But there was an incident where a Chinese takeaway got painted and told go home and all this kind of stuff, and he was like, nah, like, where is this? It's in York, I'm going, blah blah blah, and that's why they got him on. But he made a call out. He says if people want to, like, people put the flags up and whatever, and he has no problem with that. But the problem is, you can fly the flag, but no one, he said, no one deserves to be treated as an outsider or whatever, and fair play to him for doing it, like, because he's right. As a non-English native in this land, it makes perfect sense. James's bottle is from this year. Oh, check you. Hi, Roller. How is it? And then Billy saying, SP10 is absolutely one of my favourite whiskies that is not in the high price range. Yeah, it absolutely is, and so that's why we're talking about this 5-year-old. What's it doing? But if you can do it like with that, like the way I've just done it, like that, the tangerine's gone now because the palate's changed. But head to head with that, all of a sudden I was getting tangerine and all this kind of stuff. And obviously batch by batch it'll change, but outside of that. Billy's bottles from July 24. Alan's making space in my infinity bottle, actually pretty good. You need to be careful with those. Be careful with your infinity bottles. Once, because I wasn't at the start, and it was, nah. You can make bad infinity bottles, because I made one. Glen saying, so glad you've got your ticket this morning. By the way, I have Orkney all booked. Glen, honestly, I know you put in the chat on Patreon about it, and I don't think anybody was ignoring you. I think everybody was trying to manoeuvre around how to do it, but what a trip that'll be, especially at that time of year. But for you guys, Americans, like that distance is nothing at all. Nothing at all. James saying a few drops and it's for me. Brilliant. Just poured the heel of my injury. Good dram, but not great. After learning a lot about the owner, I'll probably pass on another bottle. Too much good booze out there. Yeah. It's went a bit Pete Tonga injury, hasn't it? And I've seen his distribution also be cut in the UK. I stand by. I had someone comment on my For Me or No For Me, the injury cast strength one, about the owner. I was tasting the whiskey. I didn't know much, if anything, at that point about what happened. And the whiskey stands up. I think the cast strength is phenomenal. But am I buying other bottles at the moment of it? Personally, no. I know people are, because the whiskey's good, and that's fine. I don't know if they know. It's you could say the same about Bimber. A lot of people have just, Bimber's just kind of died a death in terms of like chat. No one's really talking about it anymore. So it's a bit of a strange one, that old injury, isn't it? Shame. But anyway, on other news, Lowlander saying, fair play to Big John. Look.
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. El Barge.
My favourite one recently, I'll need to get on, is he's got a pizza paddle, and he just goes, paddle bosh. Like, man for all seasons. Man for all seasons. Very nice with a few drops to spread, but I still can't call a fruit, but the mouthfeel is lush, James. James, maybe honestly try it with something like high proof beside it, just even for the nose, because that's what really shocked me. Like, this is why I love whiskey, because how the hell am I pulling that out? But a spade's a spade. When it happens, it happens. Tiny wee pour. And still time for my Loch Lomond. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Best guessing, rather awkward lychee grapefruit combo. I could see that. I think you need something else in the glass, something that a bit more like, maybe astringent, maybe a bit more alcohol-y to pull out what's going on there. Not recommending you pour another dram, but if you want to. Alan said, I tried Bimber once and enjoyed it and really want a bottle, but never pull trigger as it just feels too much dust for what it is. I'm the exact same. I've never owned a Bimber. Have I? No, and I wanted to. There was so much buzz around Bimber. And my mate's a member and all that, and he's like, we should go and visit and do it. And we've just never done it. And then all that stuff happened, and I know that they've got people on board and they're trying to rebuild and they're doing all the stuff, but there's a lot of whiskey out there that's not associated with any of that. So it kind of is what it is, a wee bit. Right, let's go. Bring on the Loch Lomond. Up we go. Right. Hold on. That was, of course, the Fist of Solidarity with...
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. El Barge.
So, Loch Lomond 3 was actually the long fermentation, the fermentation experiment that went wrong, but went right in all the best ways. Let me pull that Bimber comment off. Five Drams, welcome. Just joined after binge watching The Guest with my wife and drinking the latest Caddenhead's release tasting pack now in Kilkerran 16. Cheers, dude. Cheers, mate. I had to, in my head, there's a BBC programme called The Guest, isn't there? You're not talking about the phenomenal Dan Stevens film called The Guest. I'll wait for your comment on that, and then I can talk about The Guest, the film, because anybody that knows me knows I talk about that film a lot. Never Bimber because I know it won't fit my shelves. Yes, shelves are, hence why I had to do this whole rebuild in here for the shelving. And you have to pick where and what it goes. Floor bottles. And you can get 100ml of this at Aberdeen Whisky Shop. Metro. Yeah. It's such a I'm on the dregs of the bottle now. I'm near the end. It drinks easy for its proof, and it's so fruity and so mad. And you just think to yourself, I love what Loch Lomond's doing. And as I said in the news segment, like, fair play to them winning that award. Sometimes those awards are a bit pay to play. They don't need to be paying to play. They're showing up. Right, that's me having it neat. I'm taking the plunge. Fair bit. It's just mad how the fermentation can have such a huge impact on whiskey. And I say that like from a non-geeky way. We know fermentation has a huge impact on whiskey, but when you do a long fermentation and you make a mistake or you do something, you can really bring out when this came out, people were raving. This was really close a couple of years ago in the Oswars. So I was privy to being a contributor before it went out to general public. And this was really close to being in like best dram of the year. I don't know how close it got in the end, but it was in the shortlist because it was phenomenal. It's a phenomenal dram. And I went out and bought another bottle. I think that's my second bottle of it. I really need to remember to pull the comments off. Derek saying, I voted Loch Lomond for Distillery year at the Oswars. So did I. I did it yesterday. I did my thing after the V-pub the other night, and I was like, I don't know if I'm getting emailed this year to do something with it or not. So I'm like, I'll do my bit. Did all my stuff, and I put it in. I think what they've done for an industrial distillery is brilliant. They've changed the brand through just being good. Yes, I've had a branding change and whatever, but it's been subtle enough. They've not flung money at it. It's just been the juice has got better. Which Geary is it? The Geary we have is the 12. It's just a standard 12, which is brilliant. Jeffrey, I don't know if you've had it or if you've got it, it's just great. Just really good. Fife Ramsden, BBC TV, yes, the guest. So I don't know anything about that one. But if you are a fan of the Terminator, Halloween Free, Season of the Witch, and 80s industrial goth synthwave, then do I have a film for you. And it's called The Guest, starring Dan Stevens. If you watch the trailer for it, they have flung you a dummy, because that is not what the film's about. That's all I'm going to say about the trailer. But in terms of the film, I watched a review of it before I saw the film, and I was like, hang on a minute, this sounds up my street. I went to FOP in Covent Garden in London to buy the Blu-ray, and they never had the Blu-ray. They had it in DVD, and I thought, I'll buy the DVD. Fine. Bought the DVD, and I took up to the counter, and the guy looked at me behind the counter, dead-eyed, and just went, have you seen this? And I went, yeah. He went, it's fucking great, isn't it? And I was like, yes. I bought the DVD. Cool. A couple of months later, post-work, drinks, tipsy, I end up and said FOP again. And I think, I'll go and see if they've got the Blu-ray of The Guest, because I want it in Blu-ray. And I go down, and there it is, and I pick it up, and it's like £8. I'm like, brilliant. I walk up to the counter, and there's a girl behind the counter. And without a word of a lie, I put it down. She picks it up, she looks at me, and she goes, have you seen this? And I went, yes. And she went, it's brilliant, isn't it? And I was like, yes, it is. And that's the biggest endorsement I can give for that movie is it's just great fun. There's people in it you'll recognise. It's got a synthwave soundtrack that is fantastic. If you're a movie buff, you'll get loads of little Easter eggs. If you're not, it's just mad. The Guest. I will sing the praises for that forever. I had a girl I used to work with pre-pandemic, 2019, and she's moved back to Australia now, but I said to her at the time, I was like, you need to see this film. You need to see this film. She came in on the Monday and she went, I sat with my flatmates and watched The Guest. I went, what'd you think? And she was like, it was brilliant. I was like, I told you. Shakespeare it's not, but it's just great. John saying, I've got 4 comp tickets to visit Bimber Distillery if you want to go. So does my mate. And it's because of where it is as well. It's like northeast, isn't it? Up at near Wembley. I would love to go and see what they're doing now. To be honest, it's just getting up there. Alan saying, I now default to buying 2 of each Loch Lomond Distillery editions that come out. Yeah, because they're so good. I've got it was between the 3 and the 7, and then the 3's lower than the 7 right now, and I was like, I'm just going to do that. Donald Pass, brilliant to have you in. Thank you so much, mate, for joining. Hope you're keeping well. Alan saying I would have put Loch Lomond at the bottom of the pile. Yeah, exactly. They were. It wasn't great. It was not good. It's like Old Glen Scotia. Avoid. Just avoid it. Don't touch it. I've not had the Founders. I've only stuck to the 12 because I don't want my Glengarry. I'm scared that the Founders might not be as good, so please let people know. Is it okay? And Lowlander, I miss FOP. Is there not still one in Glasgow? I know it's gone in Edinburgh, but is there not still one in Glasgow? There's still one down here. Alan, my mate, how you doing, Chief? Brilliant to have you in. Brilliant to have you in, mate. You've missed a bit of a barnstormer this evening. We've had news, we've had everything. It's all been going on. Jefferson, just can't find any Glengarry here in Delaware. I think I grabbed the last bottles last year, lol. Jeffrey, look, there's always, where there's a will, there's a way. And I say that a lot. I've got mates and stuff that are back and forward to the States a lot. If you really need one, DM me on Instagram or whatever, and we'll get you a bottle of Glengarry. There'll be no problem with that. So I'm saying the video with Mac was fantastic. As I was saying earlier on the stream, the part 2 gets a lot more pointed and a lot more, I don't want to say loose. I think we were okay at the beginning, but we do get looser. And I picked that cutoff point for a reason. Part 2 comes out on Monday. And it's very topical in the whiskey world based on what's just happened in Edinburgh this week. Bar shelves looking tidy, pal. Thank you, Face Drams. I don't know if you've seen the videos where I've went through the whole refurb of back there and here. I now have like a creator space. The irony is I just turn to my right and I see a drill as if I'm using that for something. But we're almost there. We're almost there. It's almost just completely done, which is great. That Loch Lomond is down the wrong hole completely.
Who wants a cortado? Gracias. El Barge.
Ooh. Probably change my vocal cords as well.
Hi there.
Caol, I will, if you joined the stream a little bit later, I may replay the news segment at the end of the stream. I did a news segment after half an hour of the stream at around about 10:15 our time, so whenever you're watching. But there was a new independent bottler launched, and yeah, there's just there's a lot to be said. I'm not trying to pick my words. I'm just trying to think of how best to phrase it, which is picking my words. But I think a lot of people were misled. I want to hope a lot of people were misled. And Lowlander saying, no, like, to be honest, Lowlander, I never get invited either, and it's not out of like, oh my god, I never get invited. I'm gunning for them. Not at all. I wouldn't have accepted, and I know people that didn't accept as well. It took all of 20 minutes to have a look and go, doesn't he pass the sniff test? I've got a whole other thing. Me and Mac, like, this is what I'm saying. Me and Mac went on a rant about this the other week, and then it all comes to fruition the week after, and I'm just like, it's so brazen. There seems to be this also, which is a whole other thing, of just like paying for fucking followers to get freebies to do, like, and I'm just, oh, it's exhausting. Everything, mate. Everything, Frank. You have missed everything interesting. The entire experience. Nah, not at all. We have tried the Springbank 10 and the 5-year-old together, and it brought out Tangerine and Springbank 10. Who knew? We are going back to talking about the Edinburgh situation, which, as Five Dram says, the influencer extravaganza session. Yes, and I just... Right, we're not going to talk... I'm not talking about Edinburgh, okay? I'm not talking about Edinburgh. I'm going to do a hypothetical conversation about the Fire Festival, which, if you remember, the Fire Festival was this big festival in America that then people showed up and they got like pieces of bread with one slice of ham and no water, and the guy was ready to do acts of copulation to get water for people and all that kind of stuff. But what they did to sell it was they paid Bella Hadid and the Jenners and all these amazing supermodels and cool people to promote it, and so that bought trust. Now, if you get people to attend something under your name, and then you pay them to be there, and you curry their favour, and then you push out a product afterwards that might not be up to mustard, it might be, it might not be, and then people do a bit of research and see all these people are associated with you. Some might say it's like a, I don't know, just like, I don't know, might be a bait and switch, where you could look at it and think, well, hang on, all these people, these, and then look at the follower numbers. Oh, these are big people. These people know what they're talking about. It can't be a scam. Or on the flip side, you could be like, look, we're established, we're winning this, and we've done this, and we've had this giant thing, and look, our festival will be the greatest festival, and you go and it's terrible, and then you kind of think, is it me? Am I the problem? And so it's galling. It's really galling. Because I think there was a few people that went and I think felt the same, that maybe been misled a wee bit. So I'm not jumping to judgment of everyone at all. I'm not doing it because I feel fear consequence or anything. There's no, like, what consequence? It's more that it's clear. It's clear as mud. It's clear as day to me what they're doing. They have bought legitimacy by doing this. They sell casks to people and they never see the casks. They then sell the bottles of cheap casks they've bought at a high margin. No one's buying them, but it's fine because they're premium and they're exclusive and they're single cask. And then look, oh my goodness, these people are doing this. And then in turn that hooks people in who then buy a bottle but then get persuaded to buy casks. And then, oh well, how can you pay for the party? How can you pay for the party? Your lunch is bigger than Macallan. What's going on? Why does nobody ask what's going on? Why is there an interpretive dancer at this whiskey session? Why is no one getting to taste whiskey? So it's really trouble. It's really, it's under my skin in a big way. I'm just fed up with it. But anyway, we're not here for me to be miserable and moan about that and worry about people. We are back. Kerosene, oh dear. Yes. We'll understand. That's why I enjoy the content made by you, Jeff Frisky, Aquaviti, etc. Look, it's not that we make this content because we want to. It's just, unfortunately, it's compelling. It compels you. It's just, don't be a dick. I don't understand it. John from Chingford, when a whisky influencer has 40,000 followers on Instagram, you know they've paid for them. What about when they have 110, 120? What about when the only thing they post is unopened bottles from brands? I got invited to a thing and I was blindsided. I didn't know it was an influencer thing. And then enjoyed myself, had a great time, engaged, question per question. And I sat with people and they didn't ask a word. They didn't ask a single thing. It was a small, intimate session. Didn't ask a word. Didn't query anything. Didn't do anything. Then got really excited when a secret bottle was pulled out. Took pictures of that. We're told don't post it. Don't post it for 2-3 weeks because we don't want this to feel like this is associated with this. And then they posted it after like 2 days. And they just didn't give a fuck. And they're just... it grinds my gears. Grinds my gears. Here's me, Muggins, working away, enjoying whiskey, doing the things, and yet they go out and they just pay for followers, and then they get invited to everything, and there's no return. There's no return. It's the same. John, I'm talking to you specifically here on this because it's not a wider conversation. It's a private, intimate conversation between me and you on this. Look at comments on their pictures. Look who comments on their posts. And it's the same group of people because they all have a wee group and they post in the group and then they come. And I know that because they asked my friend to join the group. Didn't ask me, they asked my friend to join the group. And that's how I found out about this. No one else comments. There's no engagement. It's mental. It's mental. And the brands don't care. They don't care. I'm only saying this on my stream just now because we've been going for 2 hours 15 minutes. No one's watching now. They're not going to find this clip. Not that I care, but it's more just I'll back it up with the proof if I have to, but I'm not bitter about it. I'm just upset about it. And related back to content, me and Mac talk about this in the podcast and about how frustrating this very exact thing is. And you guys don't care because you're here only for the whiskey and to enjoy the content. So I don't want to bring a Debbie Downer on it. So last dram, I'm going back to Springbank 10 because it's right there. Loch Lomond was fantastic. I recommend, if you can, buy any of the distillery editions of Loch Lomond. Please do. You're always in for a treat. Always. Stuff they're doing, fantastic. Oswald's coming up. That was meant to be a whole section this evening, and unfortunately, I've just I wasn't expecting Instagram. It's not Instagram drama. There's some YouTubers who do it as well. Do you want to know who the biggest... What's the biggest whiskey YouTube channel on, like, what's the biggest whiskey YouTube in terms of followers and views? We can go there as well. So we just went out on nothing drinks whiskey. Frank, you know you're not. You know you're not. Mean everything. It's just more. It's more pointed. No, it's. I've dug myself a hole here. No, of course. Everybody's watching. It's more that the people I'm in these sessions with and these brand and influencer things and that, I don't get invited to many. I don't know why. We'll watch the first 15 minutes of content and then move on and think they know everything. So they're not hanging about. It's not Whiskey Vault. It should be. It's not Bruzel. It should be. It's a channel I've never seen any content from. And then you can... There's tools you can see when... Oh, it's really bad. And I feel bad for saying it. Because they're trying. They're really trying, but they just bought them all. I love a midnight rant. John, this is why like we need to build the reputation. I can keep the views up at this time of night. I am not saying that this channel bought views. I'm just going to triple check they still have the same number. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up. YouTube on here. Like, I would love nothing more than a channel to come along and get huge success and grow whiskey and get huge engagement and everybody's happy. I do struggle when a channel has 295 videos and the last video they put out. I just don't trust the numbers. 2.8 thousand views and they have 1.2 million subscribers. And there's a video, I've just saw there's a video here that would be really interesting, which is behind the scenes at Cask 88. So if you search for behind the scenes at Cask 88, which was a notorious scam investment firm, that I would watch that. But then at the same time, a 15-year-old legacy edition single malt shouldn't have 212,000 views. And the video before it has 1,000. There's so many inconsistencies, and I know you can go viral and whatever, but that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. But do your own digging, because a few of us were talking about it behind the scenes, and it's just getting a bit silly. It's getting a little bit silly. I just don't I don't feel comfortable with it. And it gets to the point where you think, am I the mug? Am I the idiot for not playing the game? Do I need to buy followers and views and all this, and then I can get invited to things? I don't care. Alan said the whole influencing game is just a money game. It's not targeting the gullible. Yeah, but we get enough rants from Ralphie. Yeah, Ralphie's not even. He's in his own bubble, his own world, which is great. I wish I was there. I think that's where I wish. PewDiePie, no, it's not him. PewDiePie's whiskey video was great. Like, when he did, because it was introducing people to whiskey. I loved that video, and I was like, all for it. Then he discovered he had a drink problem. He blamed it on having a whiskey. Some of the stuff he said. No, that wasn't the whiskey. So am I getting your fish supper? End of discussion. Yes, exactly. I think we have to stick genuine YouTube channels. I can neither confirm nor deny, Don Miguel, but they are now the world's biggest whiskey channel, and nobody'd ever seen their content. Funny that. I would love to know if anybody has seen their content. Not saying that's who I was talking about at all. Guys, we're doing the last 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Thank you so much for sticking it out. I know you guys are enjoying the Dram content and whatever. Alan said, just keep doing your own thing, fella. Yeah, no, I do, Alan, and you do yours as well. But you know the frustration, because this whole game's no easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and time. I think, and I say this to Mac, the most important thing that we ask of an audience, and we ask of ourselves, is time. Put the time in. And it's just frustrating to see people that buy a following and then be rewarded for it. And so the people, the PR people, not taking the time to check. And I do wonder, I'm like, our influence is quite it's not big, but we can shift bottles. I think if as a community on chat and whatever, and we get involved and we say to people, that's a great dram. Oh my god, you tried that? Oh, try it. And then a couple of weeks later I'll come on, people are like, I bought that bottle and it's great. So influence is a thing. Like, you do influence people. It just frustrates the hell out of me that they all go for this way. But you can't complain, because then it seems like it's sour grapes. So it's no sour grapes. It's just looking at facts. Peter saying that whiskey and well-spoken Ireland, fully agree. That's the reason I subscribe to you and drinks whiskey. Look, you'll hear it in the next podcast on Monday, but basically my motto is, like, why I get so upset about this is we don't have a lot of things to offer except ourselves and our integrity and our viewpoint. And the second that that's compromised, then what's the point? And so if bad actors come in and are compromised by a train ticket, or compromised by a free bottle, or are compromised by a fucking free t-shirt, like, what's the point? What's the point? What are we doing here? So it's frustration more than anything, because it just poisons the well. That's the main thing for me. But we're no ending this in a fucking negative note, are we? Absolutely Christ. No chance. No chance. It's been great to be back in the hot seat for Saturday Night Drams. We have the new second half of the podcast with Mac from Kanpai Planet on Monday coming out. Following that, we should have, if I can find the right song, the first part of Drams on the Run, the Highland edition, where I take an American round some of the best whiskey in the world, and then I had to drive. So he gets to drink these amazing drams and doesn't even know what he's drinking. So we have that coming out. We have our For Me or No For Me the following week. No stream next couple of weeks. Holiday time after one shift. What else we got? I'm trying to think. Patreons have a couple of special Drams on the Runs coming their way from a trip that I didn't post on socials or anything. So that's quite a exciting thing to drop in. Whether the content's exciting, who knows? So everything's going on. It's all positive. Just go through the chat. I'm just saying lol. Hello, Amanda, yes. An influencer stand. Do you know what? How great, like, I was thinking about this, and this is something I was thinking about for Glasgow, is we were doing it last year, this Whiskey Tube round table, and I would love to do something in the flesh, have a few of us, but I do wonder, like, it's easy behind a camera. Some people aren't good in person and whatever, and that's absolutely fine. But just a bit of a chat. And it's no influencer either, it's just the difference between me and you is I turn the camera on and talk shite. That's it. That's the only difference. Appreciate that, James. Really appreciate that. And then Alison, I think a lot of different things at play here, and they're very frustrating. I love you, David. Thank you. I'm not asking for any of that. It's more just a case of it's been a tough week watching that, but knowing what's going on and trying to warn people without it seeming like it's just a lot of things going on. P-Head, don't you worry, there will be Drams on the Run from location. I don't know if anybody's dug back. If you go through the back catalogue, I did it on our baby moon, which would have been 2.5 years ago, when I did the Gazzetta Football Italia / Spanish version. And that will be happening on this. If you make it to the Independent Spirit Festival, make sure Alan Smith buys your dram to show how much I appreciate your content. A large one, old as well. And then, no greater praise, Glen, than being in the bathroom with you. Wouldn't have asked for anything else. And Alan's off to Egypt in the morning. Mate, have a fantastic time. Plenty of sunscreen. And then on that note, Pete Head saying, have a great holiday, enjoy, and see you back in a couple of weeks in the stream. Yes, guys, thank you so much for your time, as always. It's an effort. I appreciate it. There's nothing better. But on that note, I'm going to see if this will work. See you later.